Weather extra after a warm and rainy Christmas. Could winter potentially be making its grand entrance with the possibility of snow showers? We're on your side with all the details and what we could possibly see. And as we head into the last few days of the month, we recap the wet weather we saw on Christmas Day and if that helped the relatively dry December so far. Plus, the new year only days away, why 2023 is now being called one of the warmest years on record.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. I got my nice little fire beside me. If only we had some chestnuts to roast this evening. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan and for Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, enjoying some much needed time off on this Christmas week. We hope you all had a safe and happy Christmas holiday, but there's been some talk around town about the S word, not Santa, but the possibility of snow. That is why we have declared a first alert weather day for Friday in case we do see the potential for some snow showers. So it's not a guarantee, but we are giving you that first alert. We've highlighted here on our map where that possibility would be for a few snow showers in the mix, along with some isolated rain showers on Friday. So north and central Alabama, especially areas north of I-20, that better chance to see the possibility of some flakes mixing in Friday afternoon into the overnight hours. We're still 72 hours out from this, so there's still a lot of uncertainty. I think if we were to see anything in the way of accumulating snow, if it were to get to that point, the best possibility for that to happen would be in far north Alabama in the Tennessee Valley and also possibly into our higher elevations in northeast Alabama where the air is going to be a little bit colder. But for the rest of us at this time, we aren't expecting issues because it looks like temperatures should be well above freezing, possibly surface temperatures in the low 40s. So you can still have snow or a wintry mix falling from a cloud, but it would melt by the time it reaches the surface and falls on the ground because the temperatures are too warm. So minor impacts expected at this time, if anything at all. Could be a situation where you just end up seeing some showers, but we're giving you that first alert for the possibility that it is there. Do you need to go out and buy milk and bread yet? Absolutely not. If you go into that grocery store and tell them that's why you're there, don't say I sent you because we are still working on that forecast right now. But hey, it is colder outside. It's dry for now, though. You can see the cold front that came through has been pushing moisture up the East Coast. That's the same system that brought us rain on Christmas Day. But notice on the back side of it, we have an upper level area of low pressure that's going to be digging to the south and east over the next 72 hours. When it passes to the north of us on Friday, that's when we could be seeing that possibility Friday afternoon and evening as we get some colder air to rush in, that possibility for a few showers that could transition to some brief snow showers in the mix. Right now it looks like Friday morning would be potentially dry, but showing that possibility of some showers, possibly a little wintry mix going into Friday afternoon and evening. And you'll see too, even this is showcasing one of our higher resolution models that best opportunity would likely be north of I-20. And it's not necessarily like anything would accumulate, but showcasing maybe even early into Saturday morning before the sun rises, that possibility of a few flurries in the mix. Remember, this is a very fluid situation. Things can and will change. So over the next few days, make sure you're joining us here on Weather Extra. We call it Weather Extra for a reason because we're going to get a little extra with you and give you that extra something, that extra bit of the forecast to break it down into further detail, and also download that First Alert Weather app. Because y'all know, you'll hear us saying that app that comes automatically on your phone cannot give you the context that we can here on the First Alert Weather team. And actually, right after we're done with the show, I'm going to go update the forecasts on the app. So an actual human is putting that in for you. Well, as temperatures are expected to fall below freezing later this week, possibly even into tomorrow morning, the city of Birmingham will be opening a warming station at the Jimmy Hill Mission starting this Thursday. It will be held at 3420 2nd Avenue North from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. nightly until January 2nd, where food will be provided. And in Gadsden, Dynamic Outreach Ministries is opening up a warming station. The station on 2101 Broadway Avenue will be open between December 27th to the 30th, and the hours are 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. Hot meals, hot drinks, and a warm bed will be provided for you. And across the nation, more than 725,000 people spent Christmas under a blizzard warning. Obviously not us here in Alabama, but snow blanketed parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. The Nebraska Department of Transportation tweeting a warning to drivers not to travel. The same system brought dense fog in Chicago and brought travel plans to a stop for some people.
Just a lot of disappointment, man. Supposed to left yesterday. I'm just trying to get to my family in Texas.
Dozens of flights were canceled and delayed yesterday just at Chicago Midway Airport alone. And with the possibility for more rain in the forecast this week, meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson take a look back at the month of December in our neck of the woods, where we fell in terms of rainfall.
Hello, day after Christmas, and here we go. We had a lot of rainfall that we received over Christmas, and it's kind of like a nice little Christmas present because we've been in a drought.
It was good because we didn't have anything super bad. I mean, we may have had a few power outages, a little bit of wind with the system, but we really didn't have severe weather or anything like that. And you were right, beneficial rain to help our drought. So thank you so much, Santa.
Let's check out the stats.
Shall we?
Yeah, we had 2 inches of rain falling in Oxford, 2 inches in Alabaster, 2.5 in Coker and Oakman, 1.25 inches in Lamar County. Piedmont saw 2.25 inches.
Yeah, and almost 2 inches in Pell City, also in Cordova, a little 2.25, and almost 1.5 inches in Jemison. So this is some beneficial rainfall from our weather watchers. Thank y'all so much for what you do and what you've done for us all year long in 2023. So here's some estimates from our radar. So this isn't specific totals. Like, for instance, Birmingham actually picked up yesterday, I looked at it, over 2 inches of rain officially at the airport, but it was estimated almost about 1 inch or so. We'll zoom in and show you those totals over the past 5 days, and pretty impressive. And you see those yellow colors, Mickey, all the way towards Bibb in southern Jefferson and Shelby counties, just south of 2059. Some very heavy rainfall totals there. But let's look at to the north.
Yeah, we saw 1.5 inches in Coleman, or just shy of that, up through Double Springs, Hamilton, a little over 1 inch. But everybody saw that much needed rainfall, and you mentioned into parts of Bibb County, 2.5 inches of rain.
Yeah.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, that's some very beneficial rainfall. So congratulations for those who got a lot of rain. You can see maybe not as much in our southeastern counties. As you go towards Coosa, Tallapoosa counties, perhaps into Clay County, not as much rainfall, but you'll take what you can get. And here's a look at how much rain we picked up so far in the month of December. Normally we average 4.5 to 5 inches of rainfall, Mickey.
Yeah, we're doing okay in Birmingham now, not for the year, but for the month. We finished out okay. In Tuscaloosa, we're still about 1.5 inches down, and in Anniston, we're a little over halfway there as far as rainfall in the month of December.
That's right. So just a reminder, we want you to download the WBRC First Alert weather app. There is a chance we could see maybe a few showers, maybe a few flurries, perhaps going into Friday. And of course, there could be some additional rain chances going into the new year. So you can get all the latest information through that free download.
Yeah, and if we do have some flurries, you can take a picture or video of it, send it in, and we can feature it right here on Weather Extra.
Thanks, Matt and Mickey. Well, beyond the atmosphere, the last full moon began to make its appearance on Christmas Day. It will light up the sky until tomorrow, reaching its maximum fullness tonight. It's often called the cold moon because it's the moon that happens closest to the winter solstice, and it's easier to see since it takes the highest path along the top of the sky. The next full moon will be the wolf moon. Ooh, I like that one. On January 25th. And we actually have some really cool full moon photos I'm going to be showing you guys. And spoiler alert, like the name suggests, it's cold outside. In 30 seconds, we talk to a special guest about the importance of noticing storm anxiety as we head towards that secondary severe weather season in children. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan. I've been scouring the First Alert Weather app tonight to live vicariously through your cold moon photos, and this may be my favorite one. This was actually taken last night on Christmas night. Donna Sorensen sent this one in from Pell City, and doesn't it just look exactly like you would expect for the December full moon? Now, outside right now, maybe not the best viewing conditions for the full moon. We still got a mostly cloudy sky, but I do think these clouds are going to be thinning out as we go into the evening. Temperatures for most of us are still in the 40s, but hey, we're already down to a very cold 37 in Jasper, still holding on to 52 in Alexander City. At least it's quiet outside right now, and it's not storming, but it's still important to talk about the feelings kids can happen when they do deal with storms. Here to talk more about it is our chief meteorologist, Wes Wyatt, with a doctor from Children's of Alabama.
Well, we're joined right now by Dr. Dan Murillo from Children's of Alabama, and I found it interesting, Dr. Murillo. I was looking at a lot of your research into storm anxiety, and weather has such a big impact on a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Weather is, it's fascinating, and kids can really get excited about it, or they can become scared depending on the circumstances. And I think there's lots of ways to help our kids to actually enjoy the weather.
Well, I know for me as a meteorologist, weather, it really touched me at a very young age, and I was always fascinated with the weather. But I know that weather can be scary at times, and it can raise a lot of fears. And could you just talk a little bit about some of the things that parents need to be aware of, and starting to see some of those behaviors?
Right. So it's pretty natural for any child, particularly younger children, but even adolescents, to experience some weather anxiety. Given experiences. Some children may have some neurodevelopmental disorders, for example, autism, or other issues that make them particularly prone to some of those fears and anxiety. So I think parents just need to be very aware of who their children are, what their particular strengths are, and what their vulnerabilities might be. But there's lots of things that they can do to really help their child deal with that kind of, fear and worry.
So talk a little bit about that. What are some things that we can consider? I talked to a lot of groups, a lot of kids out there, and I know right after April 27th, you could really feel that sense of nervousness, anxiety,
Right.
Even in the classrooms I would visit after that event. But just some things to consider.
Yeah, I think it's pretty natural to see an uptick in kind of some fear and anxiety. Not necessarily up to a clinical significant level, but certainly, some increased anxiety after a big weather event, like a tornado coming through. And certainly children that are more directly affected, maybe it hit their particular neighborhood, maybe they know people who were directly affected, maybe a little bit more vulnerable to developing some, at least some short-term fear. In some cases, even a much more longer, more clinically significant kind of a fear. I think in general, with most weather events in Alabama, they can be very dramatic. And I think sometimes kids can really react to things like, the loud noises and, the strong winds and that kind of thing. I think for most kids who are pretty, developing pretty typically, sometimes just a lot of education or, learning about it, like the weatherman coming to the school and doing presentations and talks, or even some real simple science experiments at home or at school can really help kids understand better and really deal with that kind of anxiety.
That's a great point he made there. One of our big initiatives here on the First Alert Weather Team is weather in the classroom, because we love getting out and talking with students of all ages and prepare them, make them feel prepared, not scared when it comes to severe weather. And we know we can get tornadoes any time of the year here in Alabama. Well, when we come back, we talk more about the colder temperatures this week leading into the new year. Can you believe 2024 is just around the corner? Stay tuned for more First Alert Weather Extra. So lots of questions about what is happening with the weather as we wrap up 2023. Well, right now it's still chilly and dry, but we do have a first alert weather day for Friday with the possibility of some rain showers, which, okay, that's kind of run-of-the-mill weather. But the reason we've declared a first alert weather day is because we can't rule out the possibility of some flurries or a few snow showers in the mix, especially areas north. Now, to the north, there could be some light accumulations, possibly in those elevated areas like northeast Alabama, but for most of us, it doesn't look like the temperatures are going to be cold enough to support anything in the way of accumulations, which means the impacts would be minimal. But this could change. So that's why we've declared a first alert weather day, just in case we do see some impacts. For now, this is the area that we think across north and central Alabama, especially north of I-20, where that possibility looks a little bit more favorable to support a transition from rain to some snow showers. So it's not a guarantee, but in those spots, that's where you could see that possibility a little bit more favorable. Still for now, forecasting no major issues. The worst part would maybe be some minor accumulations in North Alabama. But a cold front has moved through, and so it's chilly for tonight. You will notice an upper level low that is moving across the Midwest. That's our next big thing. That's the system that is going to be bringing us that potential for a few snow showers. It's all a question, though, of how much moisture is going to be available and will temperatures get cold enough to support that. Otherwise, you just get some rain showers. Now, for tomorrow, at least, if you've got to return any gifts that you got over Christmas, it's going to be dry, partly cloudy sky, and very seasonable with temperatures getting into the 50s. But it's definitely going to be colder than it was on Christmas Day, so dress appropriately. So you'll notice here on our Futurecast, as we look at Friday, you'll notice some clouds beginning to increase in coverage, and that's Friday morning. But look what happens as we go later into the day on Friday. We begin to see the possibility of a wintry mix creeping in from the north, getting into areas north of I-20 by 6 p.m. and possibly still a few rain showers with some snow flurries mixing in overnight Friday into early Saturday morning before we dry out for the rest of the day on Saturday. And then as we head towards the new year, we still see what looks to be relatively drier weather in the mix, but still chilly. So I don't think we're going to see rain right now for your New Year's plans. We will let you know if that changes, of course. But, you know, we're talking about cold weather here. As we look back on the year, though, 2023 was the hottest year in at least 125,000 years. Scientists warn the world is inching close to the limit beyond which humans and ecosystems can adapt. CNN chief climate correspondent Bill Weir has a look at the year in climate crises.
Science tells us that 2023 was the hottest Earth has been in 120,000 years, shattering records in ways that are hard to comprehend and creating events that frankly exceed our imaginations. Who could have imagined 31 straight days over 110 degrees, even in Phoenix? The rate of heat deaths in Maricopa County has climbed 25% a year for 2 years running. And desert cities everywhere are realizing the need to build cooling into public policy. But in the same mega drought, who could have imagined rivers in the sky dumping so much water on California that it brought Tulare Lake back from the dead?
If you'd stood here for the last couple of generations, you'd be watching the sunset over dusty fields of cotton or alfalfa or pistachio trees. And now it is waterfront property.
This new age of water whiplash means too much H2O or never enough across huge swaths of the nation, forcing farmers and water managers to reimagine how every drop is used or wasted.
This is the first of what will be many barges that can bring about 500,000 gallons of fresh water at a time.
2023 forced the economy to reckon with a Mississippi River too low to move food like it used to, and too weak to keep Gulf saltwater from creeping into drinking and irrigation supply. And when West Maui was the lush Venice of the Pacific, no one imagined how generations of water theft and invasive grasses would turn the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom to tinder, or the hurricane winds that would blowtorch the precious town of Lahaina into ash in the deadliest American wildfire in modern times.
It's just unrecognizable. One of the most charming, beloved port cities anywhere in the world is just scorched like a bomb went off.
But 23 also brought lessons in resilience.
There you go, man, right
Thank
there,
you,
over
brother.
your neck. Keep you
Okay, I
nice and
appreciate
cool.
From people like Archie Kalepa, the Hall of Fame lifeguard, who is helping lead West Maui back from the ashes with love and aloha. And Heidi Lang, who lost everything to California's deadliest fire 5 years ago, but decided to stay and rebuild paradise.
My community and my neighbors and my friends and my church and my job was all still here. So my little village is here in paradise.
Heidi and her neighbors are learning from tragedy and rebuilding stronger than ever.
These are aluminum frame, tempered glass.
And as disaster forces us to reimagine how to live with nature transformed, breakthroughs in clean energy also abound by the day.
And you only need a tiny little bit of fuel.
That's right, yeah.
Scientists at the National Ignition Facility have repeated their success in nuclear fusion, nudging us closer to a world powered by little man-made stars in boxes that use salt water for fuel and never melt down.
There's still many technology jumps that we need to make, but that's what makes it so exciting.
But even if fusion takes generations, the two cheapest forms of energy in human history are already onshore wind and sun. And with a surge of investment in clean energy storage, startups like Antora hope to power entire factories with thermal batteries like this.
1,600 degrees Celsius. So this is hotter than the melting point of steel, and it's just a couple feet inside that shell.
I had a hard time explaining to my kids what nuclear fusion is, but this is just a hot rock in a box.
Exactly.
So 2023 also reminded us to expand our imaginations, not just for the worst that can happen, but the best.
The transition is inevitable. It's going to happen. We have the tools we need. We just need to deploy them.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Enjoy the beautiful views of the cold moon. We'll see you back here at 9.